really, I'm just going to do an eye tutorial today with a combination that I find really soft and pretty for daytime or perfect for a night out, especially if you're going to do a bolder lip. This is a great neutral eye, yet with a soft, pretty look that would actually be perfect for Valentine's Day. So I did this eye so that you can see the finished result, and my tutorial I will focus on the other eye. So the first thing that I want to do is kind of prime my lid. And what I'm going to use is Painterly Paint Pot from MAC and a foundation brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a nice neutral palette to work with. And my paint pot is drying out a little bit, so sorry I had that little piece. So this is just going to kind of neutralize my eyelid color because mine, you know, is a little veiny, and you can see it's almost like a concealer. You can certainly do the same thing with your favorite concealer. You don't have to have the MAC paint pot to do that. And then the colors I'm going to be using today are Younique Pigments. They are Sexy, Confident, Curious, Heartbroken, and Devious. And so I'm going to just show you a technique that I use with these pigments. The Younique Pigments are beautifully packaged. They come in these little gorgeous containers with the, you know, emblem on the top, and they are a loose pigment. So with that, you need to, I store mine upside down so that every time I take the lid off, there's always a serving of pigment right in the lid for me to use. I don't have to mess around with figuring that out. So I'm going to start with my Sexy color, which is kind of a light pink, and I'm going to take an eyeshadow brush, kind of just a flat, regular eyeshadow brush. This is a Laura Mercier one, but anything that you have will do. And I'm actually going to use some of the Younique Refreshed Rose Water to wet my brush, because I'm actually going to apply this color damp. So I just wet the brush with the rose water, and I'm going to come into the lid and just get some of this on there. So now I'm actually going to apply this, focusing on the inner half going into the middle of my lid. Okay, and it's just going to create that kind of nice color. Then I'm going to take Confident, which is kind of a brown color. I can sort of show it to you here. And it's got some shimmer to it. I'm actually going to use the e.l.f. Eyeshadow C brush. This is kind of not as flat as the lid brush that I just used. It's actually a little fluffier, but it's got kind of a short bristle that gives me a lot of control. I'm just going to take some of that pigment dry, and I'm actually going to use, this is again the color Confident, I'm going to use a C motion application, which just means that I'm hitting that bone right there. That's your brow bone right there, and I'm just moving in a C motion down to meet where my lid comes together here. And it doesn't matter if this is perfect because you're actually going to soften that up with another eyeshadow color. So this has kind of created my crease color with that C motion with that brush. Then I'm actually going to take Curious, which is a really light color. You can kind of see it here. It's a light shimmer. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to use just kind of a thin, flat brush. This is actually a low Cornell Filbert brush from Michaels in the paint section. I'm not a brush snob. I see something I like, I buy it, and I use it. Sometimes they're expensive, sometimes they're not. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight my highlight area underneath my eyebrow. And then I'm also going to do my inner corner and extend it right into about halfway in on my lower lash line. And then with that, I'm actually going to go back into my Confident color with an angled brush. This is just, you know, a standard angled brush. I'm going to pick up some of that Confident brown color and do the outer half of my lower lash line. Okay, now this is what you can see compared to the other eye is a little harsher. there's a way that I'm softening that up, and that's using this color called Heartbroken. And this is kind of a crazy, shimmery, darker pink, berry pink color almost, which you would think is almost like a blush, but I really like it for softening a brown. So I'm actually going to use a really fluffy kind of blending brush. I like this because the longer the bristles, the lighter the application that you're going to get in terms of, you know, how much pigment lays down on your skin. So I'm just going to dip that into and tap off some of the excess into that Heartbroken color. And then I'm going to go right over Confident and just soften that up and actually create, now for this, I'm going over my C, and I'm going to go ahead and coax it into an outer V shape. A little more. And again, just kind of softening it up. Really pretty. And then a technique that I do all the time is I'm actually going to take a clean brush. This brush just hasn't been dipped in anything. It's actually a Morph brush that's just a really soft highlighting kind of, you know, blending brush. And I'm going to go over those harder edges and just make sure that it's blended the way I want and softened up the way I want with just a clean blending brush. And I'm actually going to come back with my original lash brush, and I haven't done anything to it. This is what was left on it. And just make sure that I'm getting that pop that I want on the lid of this beautiful color, Sexy, that is just, it's actually a really great dupe for Stila Kitten. And it kind of creates that really nice soft eye that I'm really liking a lot, and I've been wearing actually every day to work this week. So the other thing that I'm going to use is, typically I use a really matte black eyeliner, but for this finished look, I actually used another Younique pigment called Devious, and it is a sparkly black. But however, when you wet it and use it as a liner, it actually comes out, I don't know how well this is going to turn out on the camera, but it's really kind of a softer charcoal gray liner, which is nice because then your black fiber lashes really pop against that kind of gray liner. So I'm going to take my eyeliner brush of choice right now, which is a Sigma eyeliner brush. But, you know, I'm just really comfortable with this. You could certainly use an angled brush. You could use a straight flat brush. I have an eyeliner tutorial if you're kind of like, what is this crazy lady talking about? But I'm going to actually turn my pigment into a liner that I like to use. So I'm going to take this. I'm also going to come back with this rose water. And I'm just going to thoroughly give it a good spray. And then I've got my serving of Devious in the lid of the pigment. And I'm just going to coax this into a paste that I'm comfortable with. I kind of, you know, I've been doing this for so long. This is the way I do my eyeliner every day, that I kind of know when it's thick or thin enough for me to use. And so I'm just going to go ahead and apply my eyeliner. I do have an eyeliner tutorial if you want this winged look and you're unsure of how to get started. I have actually like a makeup lesson that'll walk you through it. Sorry, I know my hand kind of gets in the way sometimes. But hopefully you can see what I mean about this color is not that super matte, stark black. It's actually a really pretty charcoaly gray. And I'm thinking it's just one of those things, especially if you've never really worn winged liner and you're a little nervous about it, this is a softer effect to get you started. I like my wing pretty dramatic, just because that's kind of my signature look. Just double check that my inner corner is how I want it. And now I'm pretty much ready for lashes. So I am going to use my fiber lashes, which again I have another video tutorial on my channel that you can find if you are unfamiliar with the Younique product, but it's a fiber lash mascara that is awesome. I don't know how I'll ever return to any sort of drugstore or department store mascara from here. So I'm going to start with my transplanting gel, which is basically just like regular black mascara. Get a nice root to tip coat that is going to be my wet base for the fibers to stick to. And then I'm going to take my dry fibers in the other tube and just lightly apply a root to tip. And already I'm seeing some awesome volume happening with that. I'm going to come back in. And just because, again, if I was going to do this as a date night look, I could certainly stop here if I was doing this for every day. But I'll go ahead and do a second coat just to really get the lash drama that I love out of the Younique product. These 3D fiber lashes are just so much fun. I have struggled so many times to try and do those little individual lashes with the glue, which are, you know, they have an amazing look if you can get them done right. But man, are they hard to manage. And if you get one crazy one, you just pinch it off like that. And then I like to do just the edges. I do an application back and forth on just the outer tips. And then you always end with gel, otherwise you'll be blinking those fibers off all day. Now, I like to use the hairdryer method for curling my lashes at the end of my application versus curling them at the beginning, but you could certainly do that. Use your eyelash curler first and then apply these. But I actually really love the hairdryer method so much that I went ahead and plugged my hairdryer in at my makeup table, and it just kind of lives there now so that I can do this whenever I want. So with warm air, and just give myself a quick shot of warm air to get that curl. And then I can take the Younique lash comb if I want, and if there's anything that needs to be separated, you know, if you've got one or two that just need a little more help getting definition. Sometimes I get one that looks like this where it's kind of like there's a crazy piece right there. I'll actually just, no glue, it's just mascara. There. And that way I can control how it looks. And so then I also want to finish up my under eye. So I'm going to just, I don't do fibers on my lower lashes just because for me being blonde, I find that it just looks a little too intense for my everyday makeup. So I'm just going to do transplanting gel underneath. Just like you would any other regular mascara. And then, I always do this and then I take a Q-tip just to make sure that I don't have anything that is semi-clumpy or anything like that. And then once my lower lash line is how I'd like it to be, I have a choice. Today I went ahead and did a white waterline to make my eye look brighter and more awake because it is daytime. It's beautiful and sunny out. But at work, especially in the winter, I love using gold because it kind of warms up your whole look. It warms your face. Gold is just a nice accent to really just, again, give you that kind of warmer look. And then silver is an awesome option at like nighttime if you want that sort of something's different, sort of icy edge to your eye look. And I definitely do that when I have like a smoky eye. But today I'll use white, and I'm using the Younique liner in Pristine. These are great because they're such a nice soft crayon that is non-irritating, and it goes on so smooth. No pull. It just glides right on. If you're a person that does well with like the dark waterline, that would be pretty in this look too. But I really like the finished look on this in terms of just how soft and pretty it is for Valentine's Day or every day. Like I said, I've been playing with this combination all week at work, and a lot of people have complimented me on it. So hopefully this is something that you feel like would be a good introduction for you for an everyday neutral using some fun pigments. And I'll have more tutorials for you coming out soon, hopefully. Thanks. Bye.